All right, we have a definition now of shopaholic. Now, we've all heard the term shopaholic. What is a shopaholic?
It's someone who's addicted to shopping the same way a gambler might be addicted to gambling. They get the rush.
That's a decent answer, absolutely. But there is a couple of particular things, and one that really stood out for me, and I thought maybe we'd grab some phone calls on this to see if you've done this and if you qualify. New criteria. So these are researchers that have come up with new criteria to determine if somebody is a shopaholic, if they have a compulsive buying shopping disorder. That's more the technical term, compulsive buying shopping disorder, shopaholic. So what is one of the top things that would qualify you as a shopaholic?
If you get a really crazy rush after you make a purchase.
I can see that, but one of the big giveaways, this is like number one, you're a shopaholic if you buy stuff you just don't need.
Is that because you think you're getting a deal or you just are you're compulsive?
I mean, there's different degrees of this. I mean, if you buy things you like that you don't need, like I don't need extra shirts, but I buy shirts every time I see one.
Let me give you the details here, but I want to grab some phones. I'd like to ask our listeners, what is something that you purchased recently or, maybe in the last year, something or things that you bought but you just don't need? Be honest. If you want to stay anonymous, if you don't want to, be honest, but if you don't want to use your name, you can stay anonymous. I'd like to hear from listeners right now. What have you purchased that you just don't need? Do you have an issue with buying stuff that you just don't really need? All right, 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047.
Isn't what you need relative to different people? Like, I literally just got off the phone with my wife, who was bitching my face off because I spent $300 on race cars, on sim racing.
Oh my
and to me, that's important. I need those tracks and those cars.
I'm sure you do. I think this is...
what is it?
That's a hobby of yours,
okay.
So it's something that you do require or that you use for your hobby. I'm talking about people that buy things that they really just don't need. They just buy it to buy it and have it.
Like the hot dog toaster I bought my dad. They never opened.
They're not going to use it. All right, 800-990-1047. Buzz us up. Tell us what you purchased recently that you just have no use for, you don't need. Why did you buy it? You bought it because maybe you got a compulsive shopping issue.
Is there a difference between shopaholics and then hoarders? I think hoarders would buy stuff more that they don't need.
Hoarders is trash.
See, I think hoarding is different than being a shopaholic. Yeah. Anyway, the experts conclude a key feature of shopping addiction is buying items without ever using them for their intended purpose. Another characteristic of shopaholic or shopping disorder is when people use shopping as a feel-good mechanism to relieve like negative emotions. So people that get like an endorphin rush or they feel better if they go out and buy stuff.
It's a nice dopamine fix when you get a whole bunch of shoes that you don't ever have.
Is endorphin the wrong? Is dopamine? Are they both? They're both good answers.
They're both good answers.
All
they're
right.
not the same thing, but they're both good answers.
All right.
And
what's the difference?
Well, dopamine, I think
dopamine's when you're a dope froggy.
Yeah.
I was just kidding. I don't really want to know.
Do you know the answer, Roxanne? Because I don't.
Endorphins, I usually think of when you get a high from running.
Running high, yeah, runner's high.
And so shopaholic could get those. And then dopamine is like those. You can get dopamine even from eating some carbohydrates.
Let's go to phones on this. Look at this. Phones are loaded, every line. Wendy is in Spring Hill. Hello, Wendy. You're on the MJ Morning Show. What have you purchased that you just don't need?
At least it wasn't one of my normal big purchases, but recently, like yesterday, I just bought in the dollar store those little things, those little wind catchers, I call them. And I literally have maybe a quarter of an inch of yard space where I'm at.
And you bought wind catchers and you don't need them?
Yeah, I bought 4 of them.
So Wendy, why'd you buy them if you don't need them?
Because they were pretty and they caught my eye. Plus, I've always, literally, before the term shopaholic was even a term, that was my thing. I actually studied it in my family. There's because it runs along the same lines of alcoholism and drug addiction.
Wait a minute. So
wow, it's a disease
so
now.
Alcoholism does run in the family, or alcohol abuse. So you're saying that you think shopaholicism also runs in the family? It's genetic.
It's literally there is I did a study on this when I was in college. There is a gene in your body that makes you have to.
It's the buy crap you don't need gene.
Well, pretty much, yeah. Because I mean, when I was a kid, I cannot walk out of a store without having something in my hand, even if it's not what I'm looking for.
Oh, that's a
I
problem.
can't walk out of a store without buying something.
Who
You
did
married?
it?
Wow.
Did your mom or your dad do that?
No, they were. I had alcoholism runs big in my family, but I don't like the taste of alcohol.
So you go to
so you got the
shopaholicism.
shopping gene.
Hey,
Okay.
Wendy, great call. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's grab Jennifer in Tampa. Jennifer, you're on the MJ Morning Show. What have you purchased that you just don't need?
Okay, I'm glad this is somewhat anonymous because it was a Bob Ross toaster.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Wait a minute. They
That's
they
great.
sell a Bob Ross painter, the Pretty Little Clouds toaster?
Yeah, and it imprints his face onto the toast.
Oh,
wow.
with the big fro?
Yeah, I seen that.
Yes. And I bought it because my husband's an artist, and we just always tease him with Bob Ross stuff. So I'm not normally a shopaholic, but that is definitely
Fester's showing me a picture of the Bob Ross toaster. I didn't know this existed.
Oh,
There's
you
This
have
is
to have
amazing.
one, right?
What?
there's
You
so
don't need it, but you have to have it now,
Oh,
right?
my God.
have to
Thank
have
you.
it.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it. What were we going
For
to say?
people who like Bob Ross stuff, you can have a Bob Ross anything. You can have one of a wig like his hair.
Yeah.
You can have toasters. You can have paint collections. There, Bob Ross socks, mugs.
Jay in Tampa. Jay, what have you purchased that you just don't need? Hello? Jay is listening to the radio. Hey, let me put Jay on hold.
Jay.
Jay will figure it out
Jay,
in a
you there?
second.
All right, Jay's on. Let me grab another one. Let me grab Carolyn in Lakeland. Carolyn, you're on the MJ Morning Show.
Hi. So I have a very huge addiction to buying fabric. I buy fabric. If I see something I like and I want to make a quilt out of it, I will buy fabric and stockpile it. My husband calls me a fabric hoarder. It is just what I do. And,
How much does your home look like a Joann's fabric place?
I have a closet that and I have drawers that I will bring them home, wash them, and then I fold them nice, and I get them in, put light colors together.
I've got a fabric collection. Hey,
I was going to ask you to name your kids Michael and Joanne.
hey, Carolyn, thanks for the call. All right, Jay's back. All right, Jay, quickly, what do you buy you just don't need?
I'm addicted to car audio. Speakers, tweeters, subwoofers, amplifiers.
Well, hey,
What year is this?
the more equipment you have to listen to the MJ Morning Show on. So how much money in car stereo equipment do you have that you don't need?
At least $800 sitting at home in the garage.
Wow.
Did it start? Did that fascination start like in 1990, 91?
Yeah, back in the day, it's an old hobby.
I got 27 Alpine cassette decks for my car.
Cassette decks. Those are toy